So now that we talked about how I plan with Google Calendar and Evernote, the next thing I want to talk about is actually executing the plan. While executing the plan, the biggest problem that I see is that it's very hard to stay motivated and to carry out the plan to the very end. And as I noted before, one of the key factors to staying motivated is knowing the why, knowing why you want that big internship. As long as you know why, you're able to remember that and keep chasing that goal. But if that goal or that why doesn't mean enough to you, then it's really easy for you to just falter when the going gets tough. Just trying to get a big internship, there are a lot of whys. There are a lot of good whys. There are a lot of good reasons why you would want to get that big internship. To remind you what they are, the reasons why you should want that big internship is that, first of all, there are a lot of perks. You get paid well, you get to meet a lot of people, you get to learn a lot, you get to experience different companies. Aside from just the perks, getting a full-time job through an internship is way easier than trying to get a job through the normal new grad process. When you're applying for an internship, there are about like 2 or 3 interviews and you get the internship. And you just do well on your internship and they'll give you a full-time offer. Versus a full-time job, you have to fly on site and they interview you for the whole day, 5 to 7 interviews, and then at the very end you're like really tired, and the questions that they give you, more likely than not, will be the same difficulty, if not harder, than internship questions. So it's a no-brainer that while you're still in college, aim for those internships and you'll have an easier time getting a full-time job than trying to get a full-time job the normal way. Another thing why internships are good is that they just look really good on your resume. Having a big internship on your resume opens doors. It's a lot easier for me to get internships now, or at least get interviews now, with Yelp, Hulu, and Google on my resume than before, obviously. And I just think that right now, as a computer science major, going for these internships at these big companies is the best thing you can do right now for your future. And I can't think of a better thing you can do for yourself right now that will impact your future as much as trying to get that big internship at a big company. They're gonna set you up to be at a way better point in your life than if you just didn't do anything and just got a mediocre full-time job. If you put the time in and you aim for those big internships, you're gonna get a really good job right out of college, and that's just gonna set you up for the next 10, 50 years. 10, 20, 50 years. So I'm assuming that everyone watching is at a different point in their CS career. Some of you might just be starting out, some of you might be a year in and just looking for the next step, and some of you already have one internship, or one small internship, or one small side project, and you're now looking for the next step, the big internship. So it doesn't make sense for me to just say one thing everyone has to do, but instead it makes more sense for me to say what you should do at every stage of your CS career, or CS college career. And I'll try to give you a brief roadmap on what to do for every stage. So if you're just starting out, let's say you're a senior in high school or just like a freshman in college and you don't know any CS, I would say that first, focus in your classes. The basic classes are very important, and having a strong foundation in computer science is very important. And going to school, you get that structure. You get a structured way, a structured, proven way to learn the basics and fundamentals of computer science. So like for loops, while loops, print statements, just syntax in general, intro to CS, basic data structures. If you're in college or about to go to college, just the first 2 quarters or so of computer science are very important. Yeah. At the same time, you should also do a little bit of research, look into the different fields of computer science and figure out what interests you the most. And if you find something that really interests you, you could jump ahead and start delving into those topics and maybe even like doing some coding and learning coding through your interest. And that's kind of what I did. My first year of computer science, it was very like going with the flow. I just learned through my classes and didn't really do any side projects. And I think, at least I took, if you're going to go to UCSD or you're at UCSD right now and you're a freshman, I would recommend taking CSD 12 with Gary Gillespie. His class really helped me out and was very hard, but I learned so much. And in the end, that's what's important. It's not how easy the A is or how easy the class is. It's how much you can learn and how much of a foundation you can build in your early years of CS. So yeah, basically first year or before college, you should definitely have a strong foundation in computer science and learn the fundamentals. Okay, so moving on to what if you already have the foundation of CS? What if you know the basics? Well, the next step is to start your own side project. Sorry, there's a fly. So, side projects are very important, as I already mentioned. You have to make yourself valuable. You have to give those recruiters a reason to interview you. And everyone is in school, everyone has a GPA. To stand out, you want to have a side project to show for it. Obviously, side projects and internships are great ways to show your value, but if you don't have any internships, then the only way you can show value is side projects. And side projects are also a really good way for you to learn too. I definitely didn't know any Android, and through reading an Android book and going through the exercises and then starting my own side project, that was when I really learned how to program in Android, and that consequently led to my first internship at Yelp, where I interned as an Android developer. So again, to recap, to choose your side project, it doesn't have to be anything that big, or you can either decide through the platform, like I want to learn Android, now what can I make on Android, or instead I want to implement this idea, now what's the best platform to execute this idea. It's really up to you. I can say that for me, it's easier for me to think about the idea first and then what's the best platform to apply to that idea, because to me it doesn't really matter what technology I'm using. I get more excited and passionate about what I'm doing when it's an idea that either impacts my life or the lives of the people around me. And finally, if you already have a small internship or a couple small internships and a few side projects, the next step is to get that big internship at Google, Microsoft, Facebook, you name it. And so basically at this point, you should be able to get the you should be able to get the interviews. And the last step is just to be able to pass the interviews. And at this point, the only thing you really have to do is just do a shit ton of lead code and just do a shit ton of mock interviews. Because at this point, that's all you really need to do in order to pass the interview, right? Just do well in the interview. The three biggest struggles of this is knowing what to do, planning how to do it, like putting all of this into your schedule, putting all the interview preparation into your schedule, and then staying motivated, following your schedule, and yeah, just following your schedule. So first, knowing what to do, that's already been covered in passing the interview. How to do it is, how to put that in your schedule is covered in this video. And staying motivated, it goes back to just, yeah, remembering why you want it. I guess it all comes down to how self-motivated you are. So for me, I was pretty self-motivated, so just knowing what I wanted to do, knowing my goal, and just remembering it was enough for me to wake up really early in the morning and just do coding interviews all day, every day for like a month or two before interview season. So if you also find that you're very self-motivated, and then just do what I did and just set a schedule and just follow it. But if you find that by yourself you're easily distracted or you lose motivation as you keep doing things, then it's very beneficial for you to find friends that also want the same goals as you, find friends that want big internships, do a lot of coding practice with them, do a lot of mock interviews with them. Keep yourself accountable and keep them accountable so that you can push them and they can push you. And if you can't find friends that are as motivated as you are or aren't as free to do interviews with you, what you can do is you can find a lot of friends and just schedule mock interviews with them. Even though you only get to do 1 hour with each person, if you find 10 people, that's 10 hours that you can do mock interviews with. If you're at this point, then the path is very straightforward. Just do a lot of mock interviews, do a lot of lead code, and yeah. Okay, and that is part 6, planning and execution. So by now you should know why planning is important, how I plan, the why again, why you should want this, and then a roadmap for each type of viewer, whether you're just starting out, you're going for that small internship or the small side project, or now you have those side projects and internships and now you're going for the next big thing. In the next video, I'm going to be talking about mindsets and mentalities. After knowing all of this, it's very important to approach this and I guess approach life with the right mindset, so that you're both taking the right actions and you're also thinking the right things and having the right perspectives. So I already filmed part 7. I filmed it at Mammoth. It was really beautiful. I was very impressed with the background of my video. However, I thought that the content was a little bit iffy. The content was great, but the execution was not that great. I showed my true personality times like 50 billion, times 100. I was kind of delirious the day I filmed it. It was the day after I snowboarded. I only had 3 hours of sleep and it was very early in the morning. But yeah, it's a learning process. I think the video was also a little bit bright. I was like learning about aperture and ISOs. Yeah, so hopefully as I keep making these videos, they'll only get better and better. And yeah. So I'll see you in, oh yeah, and then, so I filmed that, it was the weekend before finals week at Mammoth, and now I'm filming this the weekend after finals week at UCSD. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in part 7, Mindsets and Mentalities. Fucking wind.